Alright, welcome back. Hope you're having a good day. This is one of the Sea Hibiscus that I picked up last fall. This is the bigger one. The smaller one I've done nothing with yet other than just water it. This one in late November, I actually took, this thing was about this tall, the trunk did come up to here. And I tried to take like a really large cutting off of right there obviously. That thing actually clung on to life for, oh gosh, 4 or 5 months. And I know sometimes it's just about stored energy in the tree or whatever, but it clung on to life for like 4 or 5 months and then just kind of gave up the ghost on me in early spring. I think without the one cold snap, I might have been able to get that cutting to survive, but we hit that one cold snap and it just never really recovered from that. Wrong time of year. That's why I actually made a video. I didn't publish it. I was going to hang on to it, kind of do an update now and, say, here's the mother tree and here's the cutting or whatever. But I lost like 2/3 of the video and it didn't make it. So, it's a good thing I didn't publish the video. So, as I kind of start today, I'm going to let you know, everything I've been finding, they kind of take cuttings just like ficus will. Ficus, you can take a cutting that big as long as you just have the conditions right for it and everything. And so today I'm going to take 2 smaller cuttings. I will, right around here, I will try to include a little piece of the video that I actually saved there just so you can see what the condition of this looked like at the time when I was doing that or whatever. Since then, I have been taking this guy and just defoliating it, trying to just see, I see that that's kind of what they say they do in Taiwan, is they just continually defoliate, get the leaves smaller and smaller, and sure enough, the leaves are quite a bit smaller than it was. I do see sometimes when I see some pictures of specimens, they actually have it with the really big leaves on there, which kind of confuses me just a little bit, but again, I'm just kind of experimenting around. I'm gonna go ahead and publish this video today. I'm kind of just using the techniques that I would usually use for ficus, and honestly, one of the reasons why I didn't publish that video the other day is that, or a few months ago or whatever, is that was the wrong time of the year. But this thing being that tall and just kind of, super straight like that and everything, there was no way I was going to keep it like that anyhow. And I wanted to experiment with one of them, start defoliating. The other one I think I'm going to kind of leave. It's smaller, but it's got a little movement in the bigger trunk. So I'm going to take 2 smaller, or maybe even 3 as I look at it, I'm not really sure, but I'm going to take 2 smaller, more modest cuttings today. And then I'm going to take another big one. And then, whatever's left, which shouldn't be much since I've reduced it so much and everything, I should be able to repot it. Everything I've been able to find, other YouTube videos and everything, they do take quite a beating. Guys, one of the reasons I actually do have my channel is that it seems like when I did search up other Sea Hibiscus or whatever, all of the English-speaking videos, they were working on specimens, with trunks this big and, huge pods, big, beautiful. And then anything that, where they were taking cuttings and kind of messing around with smaller ones or whatever, were, not in English. I do watch them and I try to learn a little bit from them and everything. And I like some of the videos of my friends from Indonesia and everything. But I just can't really understand everything they're doing, what they're saying. So I'm just going to kind of do my best here and, piece together what I got. But anyhow, this thing's got this big branch coming up off the side. I'm going to saw cut it below that in a bit here anyway. So I'm going to take the leaves off, leave the growing tip, and take that as a cutting. Be good size without all the leaves on there, sucking up the water. So I'm gonna put this one in this pot. I've got some used bonsai substrate in there. I was worried for a minute. I'm running out of these smaller pots. I actually found a moringa seed pod the other day with like 15 seeds in it, and they're almost all sprouting. I pounded them all in separate little pots, figuring if I just got a couple to sprout, I'd be happy. They're almost all sprouting. I'm kind of excited about that. Now I'm almost out of little small pots. I have a lot of cuttings I kind of want to do here. And I know the moringa trees, they grow so quickly. I'll have them back soon enough, but right now is the time of year for me to take cuttings. Alright, so I got most of the leaves off of this one too. When I go to take this other cutting, this branch still left on it. A couple other smaller ones up here. And if I get something that thick to take, this will really turn into one of my favorite species probably. Take that guy. We'll dip in the rooting hormone. And then this one I have straight just nursery soil. Alright, and now I'm going to try to take the bigger one. And again, you know, this is the right time of year. Not really sure if this is going to be too big or not. And it really does kind of hinge on, it does hinge on me being able to kind of keep it still and everything. But I am going to take, that one branch had 3 coming right out of the same spot. And so what I am going to do is, you know, I got this larger trunk here, and it's got this longer shoot coming out here, kind of lignified and everything. But I'm going to try to, well, I'm not going to try to, I'm going to cut it off right there. Keep that other upper part as a cutting. See if it'll make it. It'll have the, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 younger branches here. Kind of accidentally left a little leaf kind of hanging out there when I cut that off, so might leave that there. That might pull some life into that too. But I'm going to try my new Silky Boy saw. I was using a cheap little keyhole saw for things like this. But it really, and it's not what it's made for. Really wasn't very good for stuff like that, but sure enough, it's 10 times better. Comes off nice and clean. But what I'm going to do, I have, that trunk's just too big to get right in the rooting hormone. I'm going to take some more cuttings later this afternoon too, so I just have a little bit of rooting hormone in this, this bowl. And then for this, I actually got a training pot. And basically, got it in there just like that. I got a big rock. It's just the perfect size. Actually, I got 2 of them just to put on both sides and hold it steady. And if I can keep that steady and in my bright shade spot for a while, I do think it'll live, just being the right time of year. Alright, and now I'm going to go ahead and tackle the repotting job here. And I'm starting to see a ton of ants crawling around. So I'm probably going to have to clear out most of this potting soil that it's in, and then get rid of that and just kind of start again or whatever. But I haven't picked out the pot yet. I really don't know what to expect. This is a rather big bulb pan here. I'd at least want to go, I think I only have 2 sizes down on this. I have a couple nursery pots I could cut off the top and make it a little bit smaller. But I do want to get it into some better substrate. I actually have some kind of like cheaper ceramic pots that I might put it in too. Just kind of depends on what I get in here and find. Again, I haven't seen a whole, been able to find too much information about repotting one of this size. But from what I see, they can take quite a beating. And, with me cutting all that off, but this really should have no problem, keeping up. There should be plenty of energy in the trunk just to regain some health here and everything. So I have been able to pull it up before. And seeing sometimes these things can be surprisingly not all that root bound, but I've never dug into a Sea Hibiscus before. I mean, this could be quite contentious here. I've been bragging about how some of the microcarpa that I have only put out these really fine roots, but if you leave them in there long enough, that stuff turns into like a brick. But my version of a root hook, smaller trees, I actually like to just use my fingers. Something like this, I'd probably never really get loose of with just my fingers. Well, I made it around the root ball, time and a half so far. Looking pretty good. Still haven't. Sometimes when you break it around the edges there, the bottom kind of starts working its way apart. I hit that just a bit. Gives me a good idea of what to expect when I have it in much better substrate. And this also is giving me a good idea. I noticed water pretty much my trees, or all of my trees every day, unless it like really downpours outside, which it hasn't in a long time. But this one, every time I go to water, it sure is dried out. And you can see all these roots. It's been sucking up the water, I guess. Really nice feeder roots, especially considering it was in standard topsoil, potting soil. Let's see. It was in that huge straining pot, and I already got it down to this, and I have not run into a good solid stump part yet, or around the edges or from the bottom, except for the pieces that were already visible. That looks a little more like a bulge than anything. This one's kind of coming off at a funky angle. I know I'm gonna have to keep the bulge. It was a wrapping root at one point, but it's huge. I know I can't just take that off. This one's kind of circling, and it's on top of another root there. I was thinking I'd either take this part off, or the root that is kind of is circling, but I'll just take the end of that one off for now. So I don't know if you guys can, you should be able to see. That root comes out, goes on top of that one, and that is just another big bulge that I just don't think I'll be able to get rid of. And so there's nothing I'll ever be able to do to fix a crossing root like that. So I'll have to take that out. I really shouldn't be using these cutters for this, but it's just what's here, and they're due for cleaning anyhow. So now you can see the groove that it was causing there because it was crossing. But at least now it doesn't have the crossing one anymore. And it's got that seam, which isn't that much better, but let's see what more we got in here in a minute. All right, thing looks pretty good. I'm gonna trim off all these roots that are hanging out. I know the idea is that we want to save as many of those feeder roots as possible. But I want to take a bunch of those out, and I want to dig just a little bit deeper here. And with all those in the way, it was nearly impossible. And I think I found pretty much was probably the bottom of the cutting. Sometimes you can get in here and see a little flat spot of where it was originally taken as a cutting. Not really finding specifically that, but something about the way it's coming apart makes me feel like it's from a cutting. Alright, so something tells me that's about what I'm going to have to do with it there. Definitely like that side much better than the way this side is looking. And tease this stuff out just a little bit more. Actually right here, and actually see a couple parts where it was root trimmed before, right to that spot. So I'm not going to press my luck anymore. It's still a new species to me. If I just work my recovery properly with it or whatever, that it should be fine. All these roots. Alright, so now I gotta go pick my pot out for it. I was actually kind of going around. I had like 4 or 5 in mind, but now they're all way too big now that I realized I'd trim it back that much. One minute I'm borderline afraid my neighbor's gonna call an episode of Hoarders because I got empty pots laying everywhere. And next thing I know, I can't find an empty pot for it. I've used this pot a couple times. I haven't even had a chance to clean it up or anything yet since the last time I used it. Don't really remember what was in there or anything. But I want to keep it kind of tight in there. Just enough room, you know, for it to kind of just spread out and grow a little more. This one may not even turn out to be a bad size pot for it. I would have rather had a pot about this size that was just a training pot. Alright, that's looking pretty good. And now that I'm, this should be, restrict the growth quite a bit. Should start slowing down a little. And I'll go ahead and start trying to just refine off of this branch. And then since it only has the one branch there, that should grow and heal that wound up. I find the use of cut paste to be a complete waste of time. I know others will disagree with me or whatever, but I don't think that'll be an issue here at all. I do have a slight slant on it, so it won't hold any water or anything like that.